Very nice to see so many of you. Albert Einstein said that science was unable to crack two mysterious things. One is the size of the universe, and the second one is what the hell is really in the sausage. And I would modify these two mysterious things, and I would say that the two mysteries which civilization was unable to crack until now are the size of the universe and what the heck is VC, what they are actually doing, how they work, etc. So this session we will devote in order to try to find what exactly is behind these two letters, VCs or private equity, or all these mysterious, amazing things. I must tell you, you didn't follow the title of the session. You were supposed to come fit to the discussion. Sebastian, what about you? You don't have any relevant dress for the session?
So I had a bathrobe in the car, but I was talking to our compliance earlier. And
bathroom in the car? What the bathroom robe in the car help us? We needed it now in the stage.
I will find a purpose for that.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So the rules of the game are the following. This is going to be a candid talk. I'm going to ask questions. You are going to give answers, if you want. If you don't want to, if they give honest answers, you are going to applaud. You are part of this drill. If you are trying to sneak away, they will boo you, but you have the right. You can do anything you want other than one thing. There is one condition: anything you elect to say should be true. You cannot forge, you cannot give fake news, fake answers. Whatever you elect to say, it should be true. You can plead the fifth or whatever you want. Okay, so we will start with you, Simon. Simon, I know for many years. I think I tried to sell you ICQ and you didn't want to buy or something like this.
I think that you managed to get a great price from someone else.
Yeah, you know, I met, he was in Yahoo. I tried to sell the company to Yahoo, and I met a few months ago the then chief technology, and he told me very proud, you know, Vardi, because of you, you couldn't sell the company to Yahoo, because the minute you left the room, I came and I said, I can make it with no cost. And they elected to tell it to me. I told him, thank you very much, because a few months later, we got twice the price. So it was not bad. And tell us very quickly what you have done since Yahoo time. When did you leave Yahoo?
I left Yahoo in 2006, so I've been doing venture 16 years. And initially, I learned the business at EMH Partners as a partner in their London office covering Europe and Israel. And then some 7-8 years ago, I set up Mosaic Ventures with my partner, Toby Koppel. And we're based in London, invest in seed and Series A across the geography.
Will it be correct to say that you learned to shave on the cost of Excel, and when you really became good in the trade, you left them and went to do your own thing?
I had served a wonderful apprenticeship there, made some great investments, and what we do is slightly different to Excel. We're a little bit earlier in the life cycle of a company. They're obviously a great firm, and for me, it was a wonderful place to learn the business.
Sebastian, tell us a little bit about your history.
Yossi, my brother and I, we started a software company, a gaming company in the early 2000s, and we sold it. But when
to whom did you sell it?
To an American strategic.
American strategic.
Yeah, and
did you get the right price, or you overcharge, you undercharge, or?
I think we just were smart enough to get exclusivity on something that somebody else wanted. And this was the reason for them to acquire us.
Okay, so they bought you, and then you took the money and you decided to become a VC.
No, our dad took the money because he was the CEO. We were underage. And
took advantage of you.
Yeah.
Like what I've done to my son.
Well, we made a nice list of things we want to buy, like a nice car and whatever you want to buy at age 14 or 16. And he told us, yeah, you can buy it when you finish university, and until then, you don't see any of that money.
You have a tough father, I would say.
Yeah, I think he was a very smart person, and he still is.
Okay.
And ultimately, we had to found another business, but without our parents. And we sold it in 2009, 2010, and then we started to invest the money. And since 2015, it's a private equity fund. Before, it was only our own family office.
So since 2015, you raised money also from some innocent investors.
Well, I cannot judge about the guilt question, but I have a feeling that it's interesting to partner with large pensions and large endowments from all over the place, and you can learn a lot from people who have been in the industry for decades. You can learn a lot.
Are you really mean it, or you are interested only in their money?
It's absolutely...
It's about love or it's about money?
Well, look, if you go my brother and I, we were, growing up on the countryside here outside of Munich, and we were never smart enough to attend a Ivy League university, but we are fortunate enough to manage some of their money.
Can we say that the Ivy League didn't contaminate your brain with unnecessary facts?
Well, I can tell you that I was really proud when we came to that university campus, and we took a picture for our own family memories, because it's showing you that even if you grow up somewhere in the countryside and you have a great idea, you can still make it, to places that you only see on TV or read about in the newspapers.
Now tell me the truth, or don't say anything, but don't tell me anything which is not true, okay?
Sure.
How dumb are really the big investors? Okay, thank you very much. Judy, now we are coming to you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you are doing and how you got to do what you do.
So I run a venture fund called La Famiglia. We're based in Berlin. We're not the mafia. We invest in early-stage technology companies, mainly B2B. So we've backed companies like Deal, for example, employing employees around the world very easily at the click of a button. But also many Munich-based companies like Personio or Flowers or Luminovo. And so really looking to back the next generation of enterprise AI software companies that are disrupting the world.
Now think carefully and try to give me as detailed answer as you can. What are the common features to mafia and VCs? La Famiglia is the name of the mafia, right? So what is the common denominator? Think creatively.
Yeah, I think it's unfair advantages, right? At the end of the day, it's all about cutting corners. Building a great company is very hard. Returning a VC fund is very hard. I think we all lost sight of that. During the last couple of years, this job looked really easy. It looked like, in Germany we have a saying, gebratene Tauben fliegen zum Fenster rein. Like the fried birds fly in through the window into your mouth. And I think the last couple of years VC and like building a company felt like that because everything was looking up and to the right.
Which is like the mafia building itself.
But exactly, but so what it actually takes is unfair advantages, is really deep networks, and at the end of the day, that's what we bring, and I think that's also what a mafia brings. And also being able to go to places that are maybe uncomfortable and have conversations that are uncomfortable and take some really risky decisions. We don't kill people, but at the end of the day, I think there's many similarities in between those different things.
And what you think the name you elected subconsciously, how it resonates with your investors?
They love it. I think investors
What does it mean? Why they love it? What does it indicate? What it projects?
I think just a willingness to be different, right? We're not the next, value group up and to the right 10x, rocket star type venture fund, but we're La Famiglia. I think it sticks, and I think you want to today be someone who's remembered in a room full of, I think, that a market that has shown too much herd mentality and too much kind of walking into the same direction. So we dare to be different.
I think your company should be commended for their sincerity by selecting a name which really indicate on the nature of the business. Don't you think like this? La Famiglia for a VC, great name. Simon, what do you think about the name?
I thought Judith's explanation was great.
Good, Sebastian?
Well, we bought the domain 10 years ago, and we didn't want to change because it was quite expensive, so we want to keep the domain there.
So what is it? So you wanted to keep the domain. I can arrange for you domain for $8 per year. What is the name of your company?
EMH.
DMH.
EMH, yes.
DMH, that's a great... Anybody can suggest what is the meaning of DMH? Anybody from the crowd can come with some explanation? Yes, Ami? DMH, DMH. So, Jan, what? DMH.
E for Echo.
D for?
E for Echo. It's
EMH, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
entertainment. What did you say? Meet human, okay.
That's good.
I would say 6.5. Eat my hat, that's a good one. Who said it? Raise your hand. Take your chair, come over to the stage. I need you here. No, really, why don't you join us? Join the party. Simon, what is the name of your company?
Mosaic Ventures.
Mosaic. Why Mosaic?
There's a mixture of reasons. If you recall, it was the first browser. It was the first kind of
true.
window to the internet in 1993, where a lot of light bulbs went off. That was the primary reason. But it was also a domain address that was available at the time.
Let's check. let's check how aware is the audience. Who knows what was the name of the first browser? Raise your hand. You see? You just told them that it was Mosaic and only 5 people raised their hands. Who knows what was the name of the first browser? Raise your hand. I'm telling you what's going on here. 10% know what is the name of the browser, and 90% don't understand what they want from their life. Okay, now let's go to the real hardcore. Simon, how many investments you've done?
In my life?
In your life, yeah, not in my life. How much?
I think around 75.
75. Mm-hmm. 70.
Personally, and then with my partners, many hundreds.
Many hundreds. Can you throw us some of the industries?
Internet, mobile, artificial intelligence, marketplaces, SaaS, those kinds of things.
Okay, now raise your hand. Raise your hand so you understand the gravity of the next question, and tell us how, out of these hundreds of investment, how many products you personally used?
At the time, I would say 30%, 40%, something like that. I mean, a number of them had enterprise customers where I was not the target, but yes.
Okay, so let's say 35%. You know,
Right.
I asked this question my good friend Ron Conway, and his answer say that he used about 20% of the companies he invested. You invested in 35, you are much more diligent. Then here is Steffi. You can give Steffi a round of applause. She needs encouragement. Also, if I don't treat her well, she doesn't invite me next year. Simon, so you, now out of these hundreds of companies, how many companies you recommended to your investors?
To my LPs?
Yeah, 100% of them.
Well, at the time that we made the investment, we were very excited, and then over time that number goes down, yes.
So, but when you recommended 100% of the investment, right. And after many years you had experience in 35% of them, which means that when you recommended them, maybe you had experience in 20% of them, most 15%.
No, so I misunderstood your original question.
Sure, every time when I ask a hard question and the people want to rephrase the answer again, they misunderstood my interpretation. Go ahead. Who think we should give him a second chance to you see, the audience like you.
So the answer is, if they have a product, we use it.
We used to have a politician who said, when the argument is weak, use your hands, you know, so. You know I love you.
I love you too. Let's get on to the heart of your question. I interrupted you. Please carry on.
I told them, let me tell you how to do it more elegantly.
Yes.
Sebastian, don't be so happy because we are coming to you in half a minute. When you don't want to answer a question, you don't say, let's go to the next question.
No, I didn't say the next one, this one.
Ah, you said. You have two smart options which you can use. You say, I will answer this question, but before that I want to say something, and then you say something which is totally...
No, I'm gonna address your question, but
but there is another way which is much better. You tell, listen, this is not the right question, and then you phrase the question and you answer the question you phrase.
I'll do that then. I'll follow your advice.
Okay, so what about this...
the 20 or 35%, whatever it is, yeah?
How you explain it?
To the investors?
No, the gap between the 100% recommendation.
That's what I was trying to do, I'm sorry. Okay, so we would typically, it may not be me, it may be one of my partners, or it may be someone that I trust, you know, one of the entrepreneurs that we've backed that knows the space, perhaps, and can validate it. But for some of these products, they don't exist yet when we invest. They're a dream in the mind of the entrepreneur. And for others, we're not the target customer. So, you know, if I was, you know, I can make an opinion, but I'm not necessarily going to be the most valid opinion.
Okay, I think this is a fair and honest and reasonable answer. But we can sum it up that actually what the VCs of early stage are selling, they are selling dreams.
Yeah, I would phrase it slightly differently. I would say the entrepreneurs are storytellers, and we are the audience that repeat the stories to each other, and we choose to believe them and imagine together.
Now, if I'm an investor and I want to buy a story, why I should go and spend $250,000 with you, then I can go and buy Steven Spielberg Dream for $15, which is much cheaper, and get a much better story.
Yeah, I think that you know, if our dreams come true, or the entrepreneurs' dreams that we invest in come true, which happens rarely, but when it does happen, that has huge impact.
Okay, I think that was a fair answer. What do you think? What is the rate? What is the rate you are going to give Simon for his answers on a scale of 1 to 10? 9. Ooh, you came out well. This is why you can sell dreams, you know, as a VC. Sebastian, how many investments you've done?
About 30.
30.
Yeah.
And how many of the investment of the products have you used?
So the consumer products I use myself.
All of them?
I have them in my house. I have them on a daily basis. For example, the nice lamps that you see today somewhere from Occhio.
Ah, really?
Yeah, and this is something that I also want to be, you know, seeing that passion should come from me using the product before I invest in a company. Because if I talk to a founder who has been doing it for 20 years, and I'm not loving what he is doing, I cannot be a good partner. Yeah.
You see, in the face of enemy, he doesn't lose his spirit and he still stands strong. Very good. Now tell me, I will leave you, you know, Simon, we exhausted this theme on Simon. I want to hear from you, but sincerely, what was your most embarrassing moment in your industry for you as a VC?
Luckily, I'm not a VC, so I'm a growth investor.
Growth investor.
Which is, of course, the opposite. I think embarrassing, I couldn't really tell that there's an embarrassing moment, because I was always feeling that even if we are making, you know, we're making a decision that is good, but the outcome is bad, still want to, make the best out of the situation. So there is no way of being embarrassed in my job, because I basically choose what I want to do on a daily basis.
I can tell you what is my most embarrassing moment, that I cannot embarrass you. Judy, what was your most embarrassing moment in your professional work?
So it was actually not in my job as a VC, but when I was still working at Facebook, where I was on the sales side.
No, in Facebook, I'm sure you had a line of embarrassing moments.
Oh, 100%. I was not involved in any of the big scandals, but there was a client meeting, and I was just new on the job. I was very keen, very eager, very excited. And I thought I had looked up what the company was doing, but there was actually 2 companies with the same name. So I was sitting in the client meeting very excitedly pitching how the Facebook advertising products will fit exactly what the company does, having confused the company and pitching them a completely different business than the one that they were actually in. And it took them 15 minutes to actually correct me and tell me that I'm completely on the wrong
Now tell us the truth, either you tell us the truth or you select the 5th. But you don't tell us not. Does your background working for Facebook affected the selection of the name of your investment company?
No, because I actually didn't choose the name, so it didn't. But I still think Facebook didn't hurt in that, and kind of, making me more creative. But maybe touching on kind of, what you asked earlier with regard to the whole question around, do you have to be a user of the products that you invest in to be a good investor? And I think it's very similar to a doctor. I don't think to be a good doctor, you need to have had cancer.
This
to be able
girl
to
is
cure
very
cancer.
smart. I'm sorry, you cannot say girl anymore. This woman, how should I approach you? I was born in the Second World War, and I'm totally unfit to modern colloquium, modern speaking. So I don't know how I should...
Judith works. Just call me Judith.
Judith is
works.
okay. Miss Judith, how should I address you? I really don't know. So I'm sorry I called you girl. I know that you are not girl.
That's fine.
Yeah, you are.
But so I think, I made about 30 investments. This is now my 6th year in venture, and I probably only use about 20 to 30% of those. But I think just in the same way that a doctor does not need to have had cancer to be able to cure cancer, I think
That's
using a product helps.
I like the answer.
But it's not necessary.
I think you should applaud her. Judith, why when you go to a doctor, you ask everybody how good is the doctor, but when you embark an airplane, you never check how good is the pilot?
Because you hoped other people checked for you.
No, because the pilot goes with you, the doctor doesn't.
Good point.
Okay, we have 1 minute and 20 seconds. So if usually at this point, I go and ask the VCs to tell us what was their true IRR. But since I lost already many VCs friends after I asked this question, I'm going to skip it. And we are going to give the audience, if it's okay with you, the opportunity to ask you one question. Okay, anybody? You are with the hat. Where is the guy with the hat? Eat my hat. You have a question? Shout it.
What's your true IRR?
He
doesn't know what is IRR.
I can answer. It's a 28% compound over 16 years.
Really?
Yeah.
We say that we talk only the truth.
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
This is of some selected investments.
No, that's everything, every dollar that's ever been invested.
So why didn't you take me as investor?
Or there's always
What kind of friendship we have? I have to tell you a true story. I'm sorry, the time is over. I tell you the story and then we finish. Anybody of you heard about Waze? Raise your hand. Okay. So Waze, when they created the company, they came to me and they offered me to invest in a valuation of $5 million. And I told them, are you crazy? They told me it is a software, that application that the drivers create the maps themselves. And I told them, this sounds totally stupid. Leave me alone. 3 years later, I read that they are selling the company for $1 billion. You know, so I call the guys and I tell them, look, I thought about your offer. So I now, the same thing, you know, I thought about when you and Toby told me about Mosaic. You didn't make an explicit offering that I will invest because you knew my character and you knew you don't want to deal with me. But nevertheless, if you are willing to reconsider, we can talk. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And thank you, Judy, Sebastian, and Simon. You were really wonderful.